Emmanuel Macron says to the French, you said you wanted policies that deal with environmental concerns. We told you what we were going to do. You voted for us anyway. You can't vote for me and then be against higher fuel prices.
RagingElephantRadio.com.
No, we have to hammer these socialists. We can't give them any breathing room. We got to give it to them straight, no chaser. We got to get right in their grill. We've got to get more aggressive. Listen, we're going to talk about the elections and all of that, but the thing is this from a 30,000-foot view, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat that the Democrats, the jackasses, are on the offense, and the Republicans at every level, they're playing defense. They're in the fetal position. They really are acting like a bunch of weenies, the Republicans. No matter how much spine President Trump is demonstrating, the Republicans are basically fetal position, thumb in mouth, going weenie. And the Democrats are on offense. And if they continue to win, even here in Texas, what's going on in France is going to come here to Texas. This is why I'm focusing in on this. This is not trivial, because this essentially is the platform of the Democrats. This is why it's so crazy to me. These so-called learned children in American universities, don't they have, with all the resources of information that they have available to them, they still find the argumentation, the principles of Fluffy Cortez to be attractive. They want to implement them. They still want to implement crazy Bernie's ideas when the end results are right there in front of their eyes, and yet they march to the polling booth, to the ballot box, and they vote for this insanity. I don't trust the American voter. I do not trust the Democrat jackasses. I don't want them having not one inkling of influence over my life. I want them politically extinct from the political battlefield. They're awful. Their policies are nothing but steal, kill, and destroy. Here's the French over there rioting over $7.36 per gallon gasoline. I'd be rioting too, probably. My goodness, really? For the sake of humanity. This is from the BBC. France fuel protest. Macron drives ahead amid unrest. The so-called Yellow Vest protests have seen thousands take to the streets across France over fuel prices, but Macron struck a conciliatory tone, saying he was open to ideas and revisiting how the fuel tax was applied. He didn't say repeal the fuel tax. He didn't say change his mind. Let's just talk about how we're going to apply it. He also announced that France would close all coal power stations by 2022, along with a number of nuclear plants. Where are they going to get their power from? I guess they're going wave power. I guess it's going to be windmills all over the Loire Valley, I guess. I don't know. All along Normandy, along the English Channel, there's going to be windmills. In a speech on Tuesday, Mr. Macron said, quote, "I am not confusing the rioters with citizens who want to convey a message. I sympathize with my fellow citizens, but I will not give in to violence." He said, quote, "You cannot be pro-environment on Monday and then when Tuesday comes, be against rising fuel prices." Amen, Emmanuel Macron. You are absolutely right. You make my point for me. These folks voted for it. where democratic mechanisms are in place to choose government, these people voted for this. You said, Emmanuel Macron says to the French, you said you wanted policies that deal with environmental concerns. We told you what we were going to do. You voted for us anyway. You can't vote for me and then be against higher fuel prices. He came to the U.S. Congress, Emmanuel Macron, and he said, no. These environmental controls imposed upon us by government are more important than jobs, the ability for human beings to sustain themselves. That's what he said before the United States Congress. And people stood and applauded. And Nimnongs across the United States voted for these asinine entities. You cannot be pro-environment on Monday and then when Tuesday comes, be against rising fuel prices. That's a quote from Emmanuel Macron. Can you hear Bernie saying that? Can you hear Fluffy Cortez saying that? Can you hear Spartacus saying that? Can you hear Hillary, Kamala, Gillibrand? Can you hear any of them? Can you hear Uncle Joe saying that? Any Democrat. Van Jones can say that. Barack Hussein Obama. Michelle the Butch Obama. Hey, you can hear any Democrat coming with that line. But in a concession, Macron said the controversial tax could be adjusted when fuel prices soared to ease the burden on motorists. Government going to come in and control the prices. He pointed to decades of French policy encouraging citizens to move farther from cities and travel by road. Quote, we pushed them into this situation. They are the victims of this situation. They have not created it. End of quote. The government-controlled population movement. That's what Macron says. So the response is more population movement control. No, stay right where you are. Just pile people on top. I mean, make Paris look like Hong Kong or Singapore. You got to pile people on top of each other. Shanghai, there isn't enough land. You just got to pile people up in high-rise shanties. That's what they are. High-rise slums, high-rise shanties. Just pile people on top of each other. And so they can come down. The elevators won't work, but so they can walk all the way down to 50 stories and get a toy train to work or get on their bicycles. And I guess they could wear black pajamas like a revolutionary China. Quote, we should listen to the social alarm in protests, but there is also an environmental alarm. End of quote. Emmanuel Macron. That's a few more points I want to get to here. Top of the hour, I will turn to Texas politics, but I want you to understand the heart of the Democratic Party. This is the heart and soul of the Democratic Party agenda. This is what they want to bring to Texas, and the GOP is losing ground.
What's up, Saints and Patriots?